Welcome to G3, Games, Gadgets, and Guests, an audio and video podcast from 702 Communications. I'm your host, Brian Cromit. I've got a gadget episode for you today, and today we're going to be talking about Apple's Airpods. You may have heard of them. They've been out for a while. In fact, they were out for a while, sold out for a long while, back in stock, and hopefully by the time you're seeing this, they'll still be in stock. So let's get right into the review. When the AirPods first came out, I wasn't an early adopter for the AirPods. I can't say I was even super excited about the AirPods. Part of the reason was they kind of look a little funny. Part of the reason, though, really is the cost on them. I expected to have... anytime I'm going to spend over $100 for headphones, I want them to sound really good. And the early reviews where the sound was just okay. So I thought, well, I'm going to wait for a little bit, see what happens with the price, see what happens. And then suddenly my producer had a set of AirPods for me. And so then I got a little more excited about trying them out. And was I still really excited? Maybe not really excited, but as a diligent technology podcaster, I felt it was my duty to try them out, and here is the verdict. So the very first thing, when you first open them, it's really simple, and it ended up being really a pro. It's just a little case here. Looks a lot like dental floss, and the very first experience you have with your AirPods is the pairing process. And so I took out my phone. I just opened the top of the case of the AirPods, and up it came, an identifier that new AirPods had been detected. Do you want to pair them now? And all you have to do is click yes, and just bang, bang. Suddenly you've got fancy new Bluetooth headphones to use. So the pairing process was cooler than any pairing process I had been through before with Bluetooth. So definitely a pro there. The number two experience then was immediately I put them in my ears. And so the sound was better than I expected, actually. I think I had heard and read a lot of reviews saying that the sound quality just really wasn't that good. To my ear, however, they sounded almost exactly the same as the regular Apple earbuds that came with every other iPhone that I'd ever used, and I've always thought that those were pretty decent for what they are. So the sound for music, I thought was pretty good. So there's two pros. The third thing then I did was make a phone call, because I still do make an occasional phone call. I'm definitely not on my phone all day, but maybe one of the things that I like least about the iPhone, honestly, is the whole call process and trying to screw it into my ear so I can hear better and all that stuff. You put the AirPods in, make a phone call, and the sound quality for a call is really great. It's great for me as a listener. It's the audio for the people that I'm talking to was great. No complaints there. So thumbs up for making a call. So it's easy to pair, sounds good for music, sounds good for calls, and then they added a couple little extra things. One of the other really cool things is if you're listening to music, you take one earpiece out, it'll pause the music. So if you're listening in your office or sitting around at home listening and somebody comes and says something to you, just pull an AirPod out and pauses the music. You can have your conversation, put it back in your ear, the music starts back up. So that's a really cool little feature. It's also cool that if you want, though, you can use it just for one ear operation. So, for instance, if I'm out bicycling, I always like to keep my road ear open, so I'll just put one AirPod in, hit play, and it plays just normally. So there's no more trying to dangle a headphone down the front of my shirt or off behind or something like that. You could listen with one ear, and that works really well. Speaking of biking, I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about the fit and the comfort. They're comfortable. They fit well. I I've been using them for a couple months now, and I've never had them fall out accidentally. You can wear them for extended periods of time without them being uncomfortable. Are they as comfortable as over the ears? No. Are they as comfortable as on ears? No. But that going into it, that they're an in-ear thing. And so with that expectation, they're as comfortable as any other in-ear headphones that I've used. So no problems there. Battery life. Obviously, when you get into something like this that's cordless, older Bluetooth headphones that I've had, battery life has always been something of a concern. These hold their charge really well. And it's really pretty slick. The packaging here, if you don't know, this case is actually the charger as well. You just put your headphones in, they charge, and every once in a while you need to plug in the lightning cable, and it charges the case. I would say that I'm a fairly casual user. These aren't in my ears constantly, but once a week for charging is absolutely all I need to do. So battery life is good too. And the range. I've had Bluetooth headphones before too, where I put them in, put my phone in my pocket, I'm going to mow the lawn or something. If I twist my body so my receiving headphone is over here and my iPhone's in this pant pocket, I've lost signal before in Bluetooth headphones. And these are not, that's not the case with these at all. You can walk 20, 30, 40 feet. I can walk around my house basically with my phone on the counter with my AirPods in, and I don't lose signal. So the Bluetooth, just because of the Bluetooth that they're using, is really good. Really, the connectivity is really good. The other thing that I thought was cool about these is they pair to Apple TV. So the other night I was sitting there, and my wife was actually doing some sewing, and I wanted to watch a movie without moving down to my den. So I just paired these to my Apple TV. Really simple process. Put them in. I watched Netflix for a couple hours. No problems at all. So I thought that was really cool, that functionality is there. I had also heard that you can pair these to anything that has Bluetooth. So I paired these to my Windows PC, and I had no trouble with that either. You don't get all the cool features when you pair it just as a regular Bluetooth device to like a Windows PC, but they do work as Windows headphones. If you take one headphone out, it's not going to pause or anything like that with Windows, but it does still work. So I've got a list here of 7, 8, 9, 10, kind of maybe even 10 pros here that I just gave you for the AirPods. I do have a couple cons, just a couple. I guess number one still is the thing that kept me away from them in the first place is price. Like I said at the beginning, if I'm going to put down $100 for headphones, I really want to love the sound quality. And I still don't love the sound quality, but I think some of the other pros that I listed have blunted that con a little bit for me. Number two, though, is controls. I really do miss having controls. I think we're all accustomed to, if you've been a user of the Apple headphones in the past, that you've got the good controls right there. These don't have any controls built in. You can double tap and activate Siri and have Siri do whatever you need. And so I was really frustrated on that for a while. And I think I used them for probably a week before I had just a facepalm moment and realized that, oh, hey, all the controls I need for this thing are right here on my Apple Watch on my wrist. So as soon as I realized that, I can control my volume, I can switch songs, I can do whatever I want. From here, those controls aren't quite as instantaneous as the button that we're used to on the wired. But having those controls as an option, in addition to having the voice controls, there again, that kind of wipes out that con for me. If you're the kind of person who's looking for something with noise isolation or noise cancellation, the AirPods don't do a good job with that. They fit fairly loosely in my ear. securely enough that they don't fall out, but loosely enough that there's no sound isolation, and there's definitely no noise cancellation built in. So a couple months ago or a month ago, I was on a flight and I tried to use them, and for me, that experience wasn't good. I really wasn't able to hear what I was listening to on the plane. So that's a con. That still sticks out there for me. There wasn't anything I could do to really make that a good experience. So if you're looking for noise isolation or cancellation, they don't do that. And the last con I had is kind of a weird one, and I can't prove that this is the culprit, but I've traveled with these a couple times, and I think that there's just enough of a magnet in this case that it's really good at wiping magnetic strips on like hotel keys. Because one day I was in a hotel and I put these and my hotel key in my pocket on the way to the fitness room. And by the time I got to the fitness room, my card was worthless. I couldn't get into the door. And it happened then about a week later, I couldn't get into work actually, because that card had also been wiped. And if I thought about it, I did set these on top of my wallet the night before. So I've been more careful since then. I haven't wiped any magnetic cards. So while I can't definitively say, these might be a card wiper. So be careful with where you put those. But if you go back, if you think about it, everything I just talked about, the pros and cons, there are way more pros to the AirPods than there are cons. And so the overall verdict is in the end, I do like them. I'm kind of a minimal daily carry guy, so I don't put them in my pocket every morning, but I do put them in my backpack every morning. So anytime that I'm going somewhere, they do come with me. So I do have them every day. I do use them pretty much every day. Bottom line is, are they worth the money? For the sound quality alone, I'm still going to say no, maybe not. But for all of the other pros, all of the other conveniences, yeah, I'll call them worth the money. And so if you're invested in the Apple ecosystem already, they are a nice adder to that family. So like I say, they are, or they have been in stock now. If after this review you decide you want to try them out and you're finding they're not in stock, here's a pro tip for you. A lot of people have had a lot of success finding them as an accessory at their wireless carrier too. So if you're really desperate for them, go ahead and try those. So Apple AirPods, go ahead and check them out. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the review of the Apple AirPods. We've got plenty more games, gadgets, and guests coming up. If you enjoyed this review, and I hope you did, I hope you will tell your friends. You'll like us on Facebook. You follow us. We're everywhere that you need to be to consume podcasts. We're on YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Stitcher. We're literally everywhere. So subscribe, like, tell your friends, and join us again for the next episode of G3. And until then, I'm Brian Cromit. This is G3. Game on.
Don't try to tell me